Hi, I'm Gabe Johansson, co-owner of Liv Nutritious Fitness, and today I'm here with Nate Darnell, research analyst for Diabetes Support Services, to ask a few questions about electrolyzed water. Good morning, Nate.
Good morning, Gabe. The issue of demineralized water, there was a World Health Organization paper that was published in 2004 indicating that there can be in health-related issues with the long-term consumption of demineralized water that's produced either through reverse osmosis or through distillation. And both of these technologies purify water, which has great importance because we're dealing right now with contaminants in our water supply that municipal water engineers never anticipated would even be there 60 years ago. So now we're detecting all kinds of pharmaceutical drug residues in our municipal water supply, all kinds of toxins from manufacturing processes. So it's not an issue of bad-mouthing reverse osmosis or distillation. The problem is that they're so good at taking everything out of the water, they also take the good things out of the water like calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium. And if we're consuming that water, it's electrically hungry. And it's going to start trying to steal those minerals, from whatever it touches. And if we're consuming large amounts, it's going to take it from us. And what the World Health Organization document talks about is the long-term consumption causes demineralization in the human body, and it doesn't happen overnight. In extended periods of years, it can cause or elevate risk factors for things like osteoporosis if you're not consuming, significant amounts of calcium and bone-building minerals in the process. And another concern is that it might actually damage mucosal membranes as well. So,
other question I had for you was, we provide personal training here at Liv. Is hydrogen-rich electrolyzed water something recommended for athletes then? Does it have a benefit to them or to people who are just training heavily?
Well, based on all the research that I've read, I think it has a benefit to everybody. And before we talk about the athletic side, I'd like to talk about the diabetic side.
Okay.
And because that's my realm of expertise, and it costs our nation $250 billion a year just to address diabetes and its complications, and that number is growing. But diabetes is also a gateway disease, and it contributes to accelerated development of cardiovascular disease, osteoporosis, neurological issues, cancer, the list goes on. So really what a diabetic would encounter is what everybody else would encounter. They just do it a heck of a lot faster. Yeah. And they technically don't die from diabetes. They die from collateral damage to all of their peripheral organs through chronic oxidative stress. And this is what hydrogen really suppresses. And of course, with electrolyzed reduced water, hydrogen is the primary component that really suppresses this kind of oxidative fire in the human body. We know that if they're consuming between 1 and 2 liters per day, that it increases their insulin sensitivity. So that is a good thing because it reduces the amount of insulin that they need. That also reduces the cost of their insulin. Insulin is very costly. We know that again, consuming 1 to 2 liters reduces their LDL cholesterol on average by 15%, and that's the bad cholesterol. It increases their HDL cholesterol, which is the good cholesterol, by 7 to 8%. HbA1c is a measure of their average blood glucose over the past 90 days. And we know that stabilizes, and we're seeing average numbers of between 7 and 6 on HbA1c levels just by routine consumption of the water. Does that mean that it cures diabetes? No, not at all. But we have seen in cases of prediabetes, we can reverse prediabetes if they maintain a regimented diet and they're consuming electrolyzed reduced water on a routine basis. It can reverse that condition. With regard to athletics, we're seeing something very similar in that we also know that the hydrogen-rich water, because it functions as a very powerful antioxidant and has some degree of acid-alkaline suppression kind of capabilities in the athletic population, we're seeing that it actually reduces lactic acid accumulation. So that allows the muscles to run longer and stronger. Right. Which is why at the university level, we actually use the electrolysis process. Because we can buy one machine and we can produce all kinds of cleaning and disinfecting waters along with cooking waters and everything else. So it's actually a much better cost-benefit ratio to do it electrically than it is through hydrolysis.
So that makes me think of another question. When I ran out of the electrolyzed water, I had to pick up I got a Aquafina from the gas station, and the first drink I took of it, it made me feel thirsty. What is it that makes this hydrogen-rich water seem so much like smoother and just more hydrating?
Yeah, well, and that's a really good term because that's the same term that I keep hearing from people as they begin consuming the water. And I have to tell you, I have the same experience. I can't having consumed the water for over 2 years, I can't go out and easily drink, you know, bottled water anymore. It tastes terrible to me. I can't drink tap water. I can taste the chlorine right away.
Yeah.
But there's an aspect of the water which is sometimes called microclustering. What happens when the water is electrolyzed is that surface tension decreases. So the water can now penetrate membranes a lot easier than typical water can. And that doesn't last forever, but that's what happens when the water comes off of the cathodic electrode. It does have reduced surface tension, and when you consume it, and this water also has hydrogen gas in it, when you consume it, it moves through your cellular membranes. It goes right through your intestinal lining much faster than standard water does. So translated, that means you're going to be super hydrated. It makes it right into your joints. And oftentimes, you know, we're getting to that age where we're starting to not recover as fast as we used to. We might have a little bit of joint pain in the morning. We know that those who are 60 years of age and older generally battle this on a routine basis. And part of that has to do with they don't have the kind of synovial fluid in their joints that they used to. This water will make its way through the muscle tissue, through the joint tissue, and add an extra layer of hydration in those joints. So oftentimes they feel a lot better, and they don't need to take things like aspirin or painkillers like they used to.
Okay, good information. Thanks, Nate. That was Nate Darnell from Diabetes Support Services, and I'm Gabe Johansson with Liv Nutritious Fitness.